All right. What time is it? Like,
It's 12 o'clock somewhere.
okay.
This is called a breakfast morning shot. This is what's gonna get you ready to tailgate.
Yeah.
This is essential.
Yeah.
This is essential before tailgating. You gotta get a shot.
Let's do this. Oh, you went in.
What do you mean?
Raiders are on their way to Super Bowl 57. It is my mission to go all in by attending every game, connecting with Raider fans across the nation, and sharing the local food, drink, and game day atmosphere of each weekend. That was a disgusting loss. That was disgusting. It is week 2 in the NFL, and this time we are in Las Vegas for the home opener. The weekend started with the Blackout Party at the Virgin Hotels and continued early morning Sunday with a party bus to the tailgating experience at Allegiant Stadium. And of course, the weekend ended with a crushing, devastating loss in overtime. As you know, I'm going to all 17 games. This is the first game in Vegas. I decided to drive this time. I left about 2:30 p.m. on Saturday, made the drive and arrived in Vegas around 8 p.m. Had to make some stops. Had to stop at In-N-Out for some lunch, obviously. In-N-Out is the GOAT.
Been grinding for a minute now, animal style up in the West Coast like In-N-Out.
Went straight to my hotel. I stayed at the Cosmopolitan. It's very beautiful. One of the more modern hotels in Vegas. They've got a few bars, really a party vibe going on in there. I got to give a shout out to my brother-in-law, Matt Nicholson. He hooked up a sweet room. He hooked it up. Unfortunately, Matt is a New York Giants fan. The Giants are 2-0, undefeated, and the Raiders are 0-2, defeated. Matt, thank you so much. I appreciated that. The 4 hours of sleep that I got on Saturday night, it was perfect. So after I checked into the hotel, I immediately got into a taxi and drove over to the Virgin Hotels. Virgin Hotels is where the Blackout Party was. This event was awesome. There were a ton of Raider fans there. Gorilla Rilla, Senior Raider. We had DJ Mike Scott, Kenny King Jr., Marquette King, our former punter, was in the building. We had a performance by Namek. Namek's performance was amazing. He had the crowd going. Of course, he has his fantastic song, Raider Nation. If you haven't heard it or if you haven't watched the video on YouTube, you gotta check it out. It's an amazing video and the song is great. I mean, it's like, you know, it's an anthem for what we're doing and for Raider Nation and our fans. Like, this is what this channel is about.
Raiders are just a completely different thing for people. It's like, people look at, it's like, oh, it's a team. No, it's Raider Nation. Like this, it's a bloodline. That's how we roll.
I connected with Kenny King Jr. and I love following him on social media. If you're not following him, check it out because it's very entertaining to watch him take down fans of other teams. Every time I see somebody go after him, he dismantles them in 1 or 2 tweets. It's fantastic. So check out Kenny King Jr. On Twitter, on Insta. It's a great follow. Kenny was nice enough to sit down with me for an interview. He was very open, and he is a funny motherfucker. What is your first memory or year? Like, when were you conscious of the Raiders?
So when I was most conscious was when I was about 3 years old. I went and visited my dad at training camp, and Willie Brown actually was watching me. My dad was at practice, and I saw Cliff Branch putting in a dip, and I was like, oh, what's that? And my dad goes, oh, it's dip. And then Willie Brown goes, give it to him. So Willie Brown was a guy that used to feed me Coca-Cola all the time because he liked to watch me burp. And so when he saw me asking for dip, he was like, give it to him. And so my dad goes, okay, we'll give him a little pinch. My dad gives me this little tiny pinch of Skull Long Cut spearmint. My mouth burned. I screamed. I ran around the locker room. And that was my first memory of training camp.
I doubt that somebody could beat that first memory, so I appreciate you sharing that with me. And you're okay with me like sharing that?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, we're not going to get anyone in trouble.
I mean, Willie's not here.
Yeah.
You know, Cliff's not here. And
Yeah.
my dad, well, I'm sure he would probably deny it to.
What's up, Raider Nation? How y'all doing tonight? Yeah? Are we gonna beat the Cardinals tomorrow?
I mean, it's been 20 years since we were in the Super Bowl. What has that 20 years been like for you?
I mean, it's been a lot of talking about old Super Bowl rings, like Super Bowl rings that we've won, you know, back in the 80s, and, you know, things that the Raiders have done better than other teams. And unfortunately, the Chiefs got better. The Broncos won a couple Super Bowls during that period. And the Chargers, well, they still haven't won anything, but, you know, they like to talk about what they could do.
Right.
But I think the biggest thing for Raiders is we always talk about the what if and the this is our year. And I think that actually when we look at this team now, this is a team that is built to win. Like, you know, you look at a guy like Derek Carr, you look at Hunter Renfrow, Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, and Max Crosby. These are guys that are brought in that have been built up as Raiders. Besides Devontae Adams, these guys are homegrown talent that should win and change this franchise.
My last question. How did you feel about the move from Oakland to Vegas?
I didn't like the move at first. I hated the change of the tailgates and the change of, you know, the way that the Raiders would be displayed. But, I mean, if you can look around tonight, if you can look around this event, if you can look around at Raiders tailgate, Raider Nation, we could go to Mars. We can go to Jupiter. We can go to Pluto, which isn't even a planet anymore. And Raider Nation is going to turn up. So it doesn't matter where Raider Nation is. Raider Nation will turn up wherever they need to be.
The Blackout Party on Saturday night, I didn't get back to my room until 3 a.m. And then so working off of 4 hours sleep, I took a taxi over to Barcode Burgers where we were going to meet. I got there at 8, got my wristband, desperately needed a Bloody Mary, and then I ordered a breakfast burrito. So if you take this bus, they take you over to Lot J, as that's where you gotta go. If you think there's no tailgating in Vegas, there is, you just gotta know where to go. Our party bus must have shown up around 9:30, and there was already a row full of tailgaters. So much food, drinking, music, costumes, Raiders. Let's go. I am very biased. Being a Raider fan, I am very, very biased. But I love this stadium. Allegiant feels like the Raiders' home. And I love that. I think that's difficult to do with the stadium, to make it feel like the team, but it really does. From the outside look to the inside decorations, the live entertainment. Since they're in Las Vegas, of course, they have to come hard with real entertainment. They have a live band throughout the game. Santana did the national anthem. Nelly performed at halftime. I'll tell you something else I love about Allegiant Stadium, especially compared to SoFi. Do you notice there's no screen in the middle of the stadium? Do you see how open this feels? I believe Allegiant is a bit smaller. than SoFi, but somehow Allegiant feels bigger because it doesn't have that dinosaur hanging down from the ceiling. Another comparison I'll make with Allegiant and SoFi is the accessibility. At Allegiant, you're able to walk around the stadium all the way around. You don't get blocked by suites. It's a lot more simple in terms of getting from point A to point B. It just works a lot better. When you go to the stadium, you have to go into the Raider Image store. It's massive. It's a big store, and there's a ton of Raider gear. It's like Christmas. We're coming to the end of the video here, and I haven't even touched on the game. That was a brutal, brutal loss. It was very disappointing. I cannot believe how we lost that game. I feel sick. We could be 2-0 right now. We should be 1-1. And now we're going to Tennessee on the road. I was supposed to go back to the parking lot where the party bus dropped us off. I did not. After the game, I immediately turned my phone off and I just started walking back to the Cosmopolitan. I didn't get any footage after the game. I just couldn't. I was too distraught. I walked, I got to the hotel, and then I took a fat nap. I had to get out of there. I drove back home. I drove to Los Angeles that night and got home around midnight. So that's it. Let's talk about next week. I'm flying out to Nashville. Next week, we will have a special guest.
Raiders!
My wife Jenny will be joining, and she will be included in the videos. I can't wait for you to meet her. She'll add some spice to this. So you guys will probably want to see her going forward instead of me. But Jenny will be joining us next week. I'm very excited about that. She's our lucky charm. She's gonna make it happen. Mark it. No pressure, babe. No pressure. The Titans are 0-2. The Raiders are 0-2. We need to get this win. 1-2. We're still going to the playoffs. I'm still all in. Win, lose, or tie. Every single game. I'll see you in Nashville. Thanks for watching.